Hey everybody, I'm Dennis.
I'm Lacey. Welcome to our channel.
We are Whispers of Eternity, and our channel is Becoming Whispers of Eternity. I'm excited to be here today just because this is a new adventure for us, and we are headed into a weekly program that kind of walks through all of what we're planning on doing. So my background, when I started in music, I actually started when I was a very young kid. I was 9 years old when I started playing, and had a burning desire, and have had all throughout my life, to play. And I started out learning in school, like everybody does, playing in school bands and things like that. And I studied music all the way through college, and learned not only the skill of playing my instrument, which was drums at that time. I play drums and guitar, a lot of other stuff now, but really kind of dove into very deeply understanding how to use my talents, and started playing actually professionally before I could drive. I actually had bought a vehicle, a van, when I was 13 years old, so that my dad could drive us to our gigs. And then as this progressed, I started writing songs when I was in college, and learning vibraphone and a lot of other instruments. And then post our first couple of years of college, my wife and I were married after the first years of college, and Lacey came along about a year after that. And so the adventure began in Casper, Wyoming for me, and in college there. And then we moved to Indiana, where I went to a school in Anderson, Indiana. Met some great people there that are great relationships and friendships even now. And then eventually moved to Nashville, Tennessee, and started playing with Steven Curtis Chapman, and went on the road with him for about 5 or 6 years. And then when I got off the road with Steven, went out and did dates with Sandy Patty, played on records with Steven and Sandy and Ray Boltz and the Cathedrals and a bunch of different people. Songwriting became kind of more of a focus for me when I was working with Steven, and he really mentored me as a songwriter, which I'm very, very grateful for. He's an amazing songwriter. And ended up with my first hit, He Will Carry Me, after I had gotten off of the road, and Mark Schultz actually cut that and made it a big old #1, and was nominated for Song of the Year and a bunch of stuff. So the process for me was getting to know all of these people and relationships throughout the industry, literally, producers and musicians and engineers and mix engineers, and there's just so many people involved that are behind the scenes and that are actually in front of the scenes, but working with artists and all of that, and then publishers and songwriters and all of that. And so, my experience really is fairly deep and wide, because that's what I started focusing on very early in my life. So I've always been a developer. I've always been somebody that's a learner. And so I've been developing my skills as a musician and as a songwriter, and even more recently as a studio musician and as an engineer in the studio, as I have my own studio at the house now. So that's kind of what I bring into the party, and I want to be able to kind of share with you guys as we go through this process.
My name is Lacey. I am his daughter, obviously, and I have been singing all my life. And that might not be very surprising, because I grew up with a musician's family. So anybody who's watching who happens to come from a family of music, you probably see a lot more musicians come out of those families just because they're around it a lot. And I was no different. So I've been singing all my life, probably was born humming something. And we moved to Tennessee from Indiana when I was about 7 years old. And at that time, we had moved because Dad was going to start playing on the road with Steven Curtis Chapman. We'd grown up with their family on and off. And so we were really close to, their kids, and had friends that kind of were in the same circles. And as a young child, I had opportunities to sing like any other child has opportunities to sing in choirs and in ensemble groups and sometimes at church and in, plays and little things like that. And was very lucky because of the contacts that we had to also get to do, some background vocals in a couple of Christmas albums that Stephen put out as a young child who knew nothing about singing at the time. And as I grew up, I got to sing with a few other people and some larger groups and some ensembles that would tour. And then I had the opportunity to tour for a short period of time with Nicole C. Mullins, who's a Christian music artist. I actually danced with her. I didn't sing with her. But it was an amazing opportunity and an experience to get to travel and see kind of the background of an industry that I didn't know very much about. And as I continued to grow up and had a family, I got to sing, with church groups and then started leading worship at one of our local churches for their congregation for a couple of years, about every Sunday. And that was, I think, where I really started to grow, both as a vocalist and as a leader, and learn how to really hone some skills that I had naturally kind of had but didn't have a lot of instruction in. And honestly, because I had a family and because I grew up in a family of musicians, for whatever reason, subconsciously I decided that if you have a family, you should probably not also be a musician. And so I gave up on my dream. I did not think that I was going to get to be any kind of skilled artist or make a career in music. And so what we're doing today is like the fulfillment of a dream. Even just getting to talk to you guys about something that I am still like just beginning to go through is really, really exciting. And because we're working through this process of becoming Whispers of Eternity, I'm getting some invaluable experience doing studio work with my dad and a couple of other people, and really just getting to learn and grow the process of becoming a group and creating an album and all that comes with that.
Well, our evolution as Whispers of Eternity really began a little offhandedly. I was asked to perform at a fundraiser for Palmyra Nursing Home, which, to give you a little of my background in that area, my wife was diagnosed in 2013 with early onset Alzheimer's, and the disease progressed to the place where she was unable to be in our house anymore and had to be cared for on a full-time basis in a nursing home. The only nursing home that would accept somebody with her particular combativeness and things was about 90 minutes away from my home, and that was the closest that I could get. The next closest was about 6 hours away. And so she went to the nursing home. I visit her every day. For the last 18 months, I've been driving back and forth to Palmyra every single day. And Palmyra was doing a fundraiser to raise funds for Alzheimer's research and all of that. And so I agreed I've got all of these friends in the music industry, so I agreed to do a concert and include a bunch of my friends sort of as a songwriter night, where I would do a few songs and they would do a few songs and we would do a few songs, and Lacey was invited to sing along with us and
I was really excited about that.
Yeah, it was going to be something that was really cool. Well, systematically, all of my friends ended up having other things that they had to do on that particular day, or were just coming into town and wouldn't make it to the show and things like that. And so systematically, everybody that I invited backed out, and it was billed as Dennis Kurtela and Friends at that time. And the only friend that I had left was this one right here.
Actually, that's not true. For all the friends that are watching, you're still friends. I just got to be really, really excited and be the only person that performed with him that day.
So we decided that we were going to learn a bunch of the songs that I have written, and a lot of the material that I had written, at least recently, is related to the adventure that we're going through with my wife, and it's a very difficult journey, but I've written love songs to her, and I've written songs about the process and all of that. And so we worked up was 5 or 6 songs, I guess, to perform at this fundraiser. And somewhere in the process of that, it was about 2 weeks before we were going to perform, I thought, now why wouldn't we want to have a piece of product at the event that we were at that we could sell and help raise money as well. And so in about a 2-week period of time, we got together with Frederick Breeden is our photographer, with Sal Oliveri. I was actually doing construction work for Sal on his house, doing some repairs and things like that. And we bartered for some of his time, because I'm broke as a church mouse because of all the stuff that we're doing with the Alzheimer's adventure that we've got going on. And we got him to co-produce with us a couple of songs, and put them on a CD and got them duplicated. Ended up with 100 pieces of product that we were bringing with us to the show and all of that. And so we had product there. We did the show. It was rough. It was an outside concert. If you've ever done anything in an outdoor venue, monitors and all of that stuff are super important. And the stuff that I've done with Stephen, we've done a lot of outside concerts, but we always had a lot of control over that. And so it was very hard to hear. It was probably our worst show, I would say.
I mean, I wouldn't know, because that was the first performance I'd ever had as us,
and
ever.
So we sort of suffered through that first one, which if you're doing this, you absolutely have to suffer through that first one, because you're nervous and you don't know exactly what it is that you're doing. Even with a lot of experience, you don't know exactly what it is that you're doing.
And you can't control all the variables.
No. And so we ended up, it went fine. We sold probably about 20 or 30 pieces of product at
Which gave us the opportunity to donate to the Alzheimer's Awareness Fund, because that was really important for that piece of product to help us do that.
Yeah, and so that was where we started. And then from there, we've continued to write new material, and we've only performed a couple of times now, but we've been in the studio a lot, and Lacey's getting a lot of experience in the studio. Of course, I've gotten a lot of that in the past, but I'm applying that to what we're doing now. And so so what we thought was, this would be a good way for you guys to see kind of the good, the bad, and the ugly. Even with people that have a lot of experience in this business, it's a tough pull sometimes to get done what you want to get done in the way that you want to do it, and make a quality product, and express the things that you feel like are happening in your life right now. And so that's what we're trying to do with Whispers of Eternity. I mean, that's our angle.
Mm-hmm. So you might ask, why are we choosing to do this whole Becoming Whispers of Eternity YouTube channel in front of the world? Because let's be honest, when you make a lot of mistakes, it's not like you want to broadcast them and have everybody see it. But the reason that we're doing this in front of you is, hopefully there is an individual, or many, many people out there who have an unrealized dream. Just like I had thought that there was no way I was going to get to even try to have a career in the music business. And I needed someone to help me and teach me. There might be a lot of people out there, that you might be one of them, that needs someone to give them some guidance, because let's be honest, this journey is hard, and it's a little hard to know what to do next. I mean, I've heard the phrase, you just don't know what you don't know. The truth is, you really don't. Sometimes you need a mentor, you need some instructions, and you're not sure exactly who to trust, because there's a lot of information out there. We're choosing to do this in front of you because we hope that there are people with dreams out there who would like to learn the process alongside us, and you can make better choices when we make mistakes, and it's definitely not a perfect process. I mean, we already have made so many mistakes and are learning from them, and you can learn from it so you don't end up doing the same things that we do, and maybe we build a community at the same time.
Yeah, and I think one of the important things is you get knocked down in this. You know, I mean, when we did that first show, I think both of us were going, I just don't know if we should continue this process. But the overriding passion in all of this is that there's a dream there for us to at least let people know what we're going through. And there's going to be people that identify with our story, but there's also going to be people that identify with the fact that we're just not perfect. I mean, you see this beautiful set in front of you, and what you don't see is what's behind the scenes, the things that we see, all the debris and the lighting and all the other stuff.
Right. This is a really polished, beautiful set that we worked very hard to create. He did a lot of the work, so I can't take most of the credit for it, but there's a lot behind the scenes that you don't get to see. So what you're going to see next is a clip of the behind the scenes of this very beautiful polished set that we have just created.
All right, so here's what everybody else sees. They're going to see our Becoming Whispers of Eternity through our iPad camera, which is off right now. That shot is what everybody else will see. This is like our TV set. And then what we'll see is something else. Is I'll see Lacey, and then we'll see big lights and lots of debris and stuff hanging out with us. And that's our perspective.
Seriously, guys, life is messy. You just don't see it always, but everybody has messes, and we've got a lot of them too.
So as you can see, it's a messy life, and somebody needs to clean it up. What we hope that you guys will get out of our becoming in front of you is some tips, insights, into the process of how songs are written and developed, how you choose those songs for your record, how you go through the process of recording those songs, and the gear maybe that you use in the process of recording those songs. There's just a lot that goes into it, and then the production of those songs and taking the song from a demo to a finished product, incorporating musicians into your project. I play a lot of instruments myself, so a lot of that happens in my studio, but I bring in outside people to do certain things that I don't do very well. And so, bringing those people in and understanding how that process works and kind of setting an expectation for even cost of that kind of thing. Again, there's just a lot to it, but the development of the actual finished product, photography, the layout of the design for your CD jacket and all of that stuff, banners for this show and for our Facebook page and for other things as well, and our website and the development of our website. And like I say, there's just a lot that goes into it. And I think I wish that I would have had some of that information when I first started in bands doing the things that I was doing. And then we're going to interview, I've got all of these friends in the industry that are, there's some very high-powered people that within the industry that I know just as, buddies. And we're going to interview those people and get their insights into things like songwriting and production and photography and all of the areas that we can, I've got music business attorneys that are friends of mine that we'll interview on the show. And so our hope is that you'll get something from them as well as from us that benefits you or helps you not to make some of the mistakes that we've made in the process. And these guys are people that could be your contacts later on, and could be people that you rely on for information and things as well. So we plan to sort of unfold all of that in front of you and interview those people so that you have a lot of really good content that you can go back to and learn from.
And we're scheduling them, so stay tuned, because it's going to get really exciting as this channel kind of progresses and grows over some time. We're also going to be asking for your suggestions on topics and content, because even though we're going through some stuff, we might not be experiencing something that you are experiencing, and we'd love to do some research and bring you the best possible information that we can. So we're going to be asking you along the way to please give us your ideas on topics and on content, and we're going to ask you to ask us questions and give us your ideas. We also, even in this very first video, would love it if you would show us your love and support by liking this video. I know it's simple. We're going to work on it. I promise we're going to get better at this. And subscribe to our channel, because we would really love to see you grow with us. You become a part of our family and a part of our adventure and journey as you continue to come back and watch the content, and we all learn this together. It's going to be a lot of fun. So like and subscribe, and I know you hear it on every YouTube video, but please do like and subscribe. And tonight, or today, if you're watching during the day, leave us all of your ideas and your comments and your questions about what we're talking about, or if we haven't clarified what the purpose of this channel is. Leave those questions and comments below so that we can answer and hopefully start to build a little community where we're talking to each other on a regular basis. We want to make this journey as clear and hopefully as helpful as possible. So there's a lot that goes into what we're doing. I mean, it takes a lot of hours even to create a very simple YouTube channel set and set up everything that goes into that. And so it's just, there's a lot of long hours that happen, and sometimes a lot of late nights and not a lot of sleeping. And some of us also have 3 kids at home that like to eat and go to school with lunches. So I think what you're going to probably see next is just a little snippet of our real life that happens outside of this channel.
All right. We thought we would close out this particular program, our time together, with an acoustic version of one of the songs that we're going to be doing on our record. And just to give you a flavor of kind of what we do and all of that. This is a song that we co-wrote together. Mm-hmm. Actually, I think it's
my first song ever. I've never written a song before this one.
Yeah, and so it's exciting for me to be able to pass on kind of the legacy of songwriting to my daughter and to mentor her in the process of writing as I was mentored by so many people that I am very appreciative of. So this is a song called Come, and we co-wrote this together.
The house is silent all around. I go downstairs without a sound. The mist is rising from the ground, and deep within I hear you calling, come. In the stillness and the quiet, you invite me here before the day's begun. Come, why the God of all eternity would draw me here before the morning sun. I do not know, but even so, he calls me, come. I find you in the very place where we left off yesterday, and read of your amazing grace and love for me, and hear you calling, come. Show us how you saved us through your Son. And every you bid us come. When I am weak, you give me all the strength I need. Here at your feet, your Spirit washes over me. Even so, still I know you're calling, come. When I am weak, you give me all the strength I need. Here at your feet, your Spirit washes over me. Even so, still I know that every day, in every way, and as we grow, the more I know who you're calling, come. Thank you for letting us share our songs with you. Next week, we're going to begin kind of a game of sorts. It's going to be something that we announce the details of, but it's kind of like a co-songwriting challenge. We're going to bring you some fresh ideas that we plan on using on our next record, and we're going to ask you guys for suggestions, for your creative input, and we're going to walk through the songwriting process, all of us together, right here on our channel, and come out at the end with one or maybe very many original songs that are at completion. So we'll get to walk through the whole process of songwriting. We'll learn, because we're going to do it that way, we're going to learn the development of a song, really. And it's kind of a co-writing contest, because there's going to be some benefit to you guys being a part of it. But we'll bring you more details next week. We want to truly, truly thank you from the bottom of our hearts for being a part of this journey with us, for allowing us to share little snippets of our adventure with you. Thank you for your patience with us, and we want to bless you from the bottom of our hearts. We bless you and all that you do. We hope to see you back next week. Have a great week.
Thanks for joining us.